All right, let's do lesson 9, part 2 of this function notation. So we're going to talk about graphing a function. Graphing a function is just like graphing an equation. There's just different notation. It's just this f of x stuff in the front. So it says, consider the function f of x equals 3x plus 1. The values of x represent the input and make up the domain. The values of f of x represent the output and make up the range of the function. In the previous lessons, we have used y to represent the outputs and the range, and we can therefore write the function f of x equals 3x plus y in xy notation as y equals 3x plus 1. So the function f of x can be written in xy notation. So all you're doing is replacing this f of x with a y. That's it. Once again, little stop sign guy reminds you one more time that the independent is the input, which is on the horizontal axis. We know a couple more words to go with this. They are the domain and the x variable. Okay, and the same thing with the value of the dependent. The dependent is the output, the vertical axis, also known as the range, and the y variable. Okay, so when it says use a graphing calculator to sketch the graph, we're just going to use our calculator to go y equals 3x plus 1. And you're literally going to take your calculator and you're going to go into y1 and you're going to type that information into there, 3x plus 1. You're going to hit graph. Hopefully your windows are normal. If they're not, remember to hit zoom 6. So it will take you, and your graph will look something like this. Sorry, that does not go through the origin. It's just slightly above the origin. Okay. So not hard to graph it. If it's a function, just change it to a y equals. Okay, so then in example number 2, it says, in each case, express the relation in function as an equation. So all you have to do for this is change the f of x to a y. That's all you're doing. You're going to be asked to do this in your homework. To change the function to an equation, just put a y instead of a g of t or whatever you're asked to do there. And vice versa, we can take a relation and put it in function notation. We're going to put f of x. Now I'm choosing the x because that is what is in here, 11x. So I'm going to put the same variable that's here into the function notation. Letter C says the graph of the function defined by y equals f of x has equation y equals 4 minus 3x. Express it in function notation. That just means put an f of x in the front. It's not complicated. It's just learning to switch between equations and functions and understanding that the f of x portion is the same as the y. All right. Now, this is where we have a little bit of understanding here. It says the graph of the function f is shown. It's a funky graph. I have no idea what the actual equation would look like, but we don't need it. All it's saying is complete, find f of 5. This is your x. And you're being asked to find the other one. There's only 2 options, ladies and gentlemen. There's either an x or there's a y. If they give you the x, then go find the y. So we go over here on the x to an x is 5. And we go down and we say, well, then the y value or the function is at -2. Okay, part 2, it says f of -2. This is what we have called the x. So in my table of values, it would be over here as -2. That means when x is -2, go find the y. So I go over here to -2 on my x, which is right there, and I go up and I find the y value or the function value, which is at 3. I could be putting these in over here if I wanted. And the same thing with f of 4. This is your x. Put it in. Go find out when x is 4. Where are we at? We're here, down 1. We're at -1. So that's my answer. You only have x's and y's. If they give you the x, go find the y. They want us to write these in ordered pairs. So here we're going to have 5 and -2, -2 and 3, and 4 and negative 1. Okay, I'm going to erase all this blue stuff. And let's do the next portion. Now on this one, I'll do it in red, it says find the values of x. You're supposed to find x if the function is. So in this case, you are looking for the x, they've given you the function, or this is the y. So when y is negative 1, that's what this means over here. So when y is negative 1, so go to negative 1 on the y, that would be here. Go across and find out what x is. 4. So x is going to be a 4 here. Okay, next question. We're supposed to find x. This is the part we don't know the x if the function or the y value is 3. So I will go to 3 on the y value. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I have 2 different options for my x. I either have positive 2 or I have negative 2. There's 2 places, here and here, when y is 3. Okay, and the last one is what? Find. So I could go 2, and I also had a 3 and a negative 2 here. Okay, the last question says f of x is 4. Find x if the function or the y value is at 4. So I'll erase what I had on there before. That means I'm going to go up to 4, just here, and oh, I have 2 different options, positive 1 or negative 1. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. You're only looking for either x or y. Okay, it says use the notation in A to make statements about the points A and B. Okay, this point A is the point negative 5 and 1. If I want to put that into function notation, I would say f of negative 5, where the x goes, is equal to 1. And I can say the same thing about B. This point, the point is 6, negative 3. Function notation would be f of 6 is equal to negative 3. Okay, the very last. Okay, so I'm supposed to write the x and y intercepts of the graph using function notation. So the y-intercept, there's only one. The y-intercept is right up here at the point 0 and 5. Whoops, sorry. 0 and 5. So let's put that in notation. So the y-intercept is going to be f of 0 equals 5. I can make that neater. The x-intercepts, there's 2 of them. They're here and here. So this is the point negative 6 and 0. This is the point 3 and 0. So my x-intercepts are going to become f of negative 6 is equal to 0, and f of 3 is equal to 0. Okay, let's talk domain and range. I'm going to erase everything I have up there. Okay, the domain of f. The domain are the values of x. So how wide is my box? It's going to have to go from here all the way to here. That's the width of my box. So I'm going from negative 6 all the way to 7. 5, 6, 7. Yep. And my range is the top and bottom. It's the vertical up and down. So I'm going from here, this is the depth of it, to the height of it is there. So I'm going to go from negative 4 all the way to 5. Okay, good luck on your assignment.